Welcome to our second episode of Daily Discipleship, formerly Quality Quarantine, but we're out of that season. And we had a wonderful donor that has asked for us to do quarterly videos. And so, yeah, we're doing Daily Discipleship. So today is Training Tuesday. And on Training Tuesday, what we do is we have a practical life skill that fits in with the theme of the week. And this week, thankfully, our practical skill is basically the exact same thing as the theme for the week, which is how to disagree well. So normally we would go straight into the skill, but we actually have a great little video that we're going to recommend if you look in our the links under this video, and it's called Kid President. Mm-hmm. And the specific, does he have multiple episodes, Lindsay?
He does. So it's how to disagree well.
There you go. How to disagree well. Exactly our theme for the week. So Amy, what were like some of the 6 steps that he went through? Oh, but before we start, I'm Hillary from Mama Bear Apologetics, and with me is...
Hi, I'm Lindsay from Mama Bear Apologetics.
I'm Elizabeth Urbanowitz from Foundation Worldview.
And I'm Amy Davison, also from Mama Bear Apologetics. Yeah, so the video is super cute. I had never seen any of the Kid President videos until this one, and oh my gosh, I was so smitten. This video is so practical because his 6 steps that he gives are so common sense, but when you are looking at folks, how they're interacting around him, you see that people have kind of lost or forgotten that these tips are what these tips are. So I'm just going to list them out for you. The first one is so great. It's treat people like they're people. And it's what Mama Bear tries to do all the time. It's not about tearing down people. It's about tearing down arguments. So the first step is just treat people like they're humans, like you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. The second one is listen, which I love. And there's this great quote in tactics is listen to understand, not to hear. Which is so practical.
I think you mean listen to understand, not to respond.
Well, yeah, not just to respond, or yes, respond as well. But yeah, it's just kind of that cursory, I'm just going to listen. And then, yeah, the reaction. So yeah, the response there. Then there's the stop, breathe, love. So whenever they're talking, you just take a moment to collect yourself, realize that there's still people again, and then just love on the person. Mm-hmm. Step 4 is distract. Now he recommends throwing up some cute pictures of baby koalas and that sort of thing. As Elizabeth mentioned, it's not about tossing out red herrings and distracting the person from the conversation. It's more or less diffusing the tension. And a great way to do this is humor. The 5th one is accept. Accept the fact that you're going to have folks that are going to disagree with you, and they're going to have different opinions, and that's okay. We can still get along and treat people decently. And the last one, which we all super love, is dance. Just dance it out. If you can't figure it out, just bust a move. So these are just 6 really fun steps that your kids are going to love the video, and hopefully you can implement them with your kids as well.
Yeah, and the video is really engaging, so it'll be fun for your kids to watch. And then a great way to follow up, because we don't just want to throw this video at our kids and be like, oh, well, everything's great now.
Now you know how to do it.
Yeah. For us to be good listeners and to actually ask our kids questions about the video, like what stood out to you? What are some things that you think you are already putting into practice? What are some things you'd like to put into practice? What do you think we could grow as a family? What can we work on? And then whether or not if your kids are in middle school, they might have very, very short responses, where a first grader, is going to have much more elaborate responses. But then you can dive deeper into that conversation and think about some practical things you can do to really begin training kids to listen and love and respect in this way. And one activity that I just always love, I think I've mentioned it before on these videos, just to really help kids learn to listen, to actually hear what somebody is saying, not just to throw back a verbal response, is what I used to do. Is I used to have the kids in my classroom, I'd break them into pairs, and I'd have them sit at opposite ends of the room, and I'd give them some questions to ask each other. And then each pair would have a tennis ball, and one student would have a tennis ball, or you could do like a little beach ball, and they would ask their partner a question. And as they asked the question, they'd roll the ball across the room. And as soon as the person caught it or picked it up, they would respond to that question. Now, to train the kids to listen well, once that student said their response, they'd roll the ball back. And when the other person caught it, they'd say, what I heard you say was, and repeat what they heard them say, and then say, is that correct? And roll the ball back. And then that person would have to say, yes, that's exactly what I was saying. And if that was the case, they'd say yes. And then they'd ask the other person a question, or they might say, no, actually what I was saying was, and then they'd clarify, roll the ball back, and the other person say, oh, so what you were really saying is this, and is that correct? And roll it back. It's just a great way to really retrain the way our minds think.
Yeah.
Because naturally we just think of, how can I respond? How can I respond? Not really, what is this person genuinely saying? How can I love them as an image bearer? So that's just a great practical activity we can use with our kids to help them learn to listen well.
Right. And it's so applicable in daily life. We all know an election in the United States is coming. Not all of our followers are in the United States, but they also know an election in the United States is coming. I think everybody in the world is watching. But we can see in just our daily lives how we can engage with those who may think differently than we do. And as adults, we really set this example for our children. And it's not just about, why can't you get along with your sister? It's, well, Mom, why are you yelling at that person in the grocery store? They've not said that to me because I don't yell at people in the grocery store.
I was going to say, I can't picture you doing that.
But I have seen mothers yell at people in the grocery store. So I know it does happen. So if we can set that example, even with people who have different beliefs than us. For those of you who've read my World Religion series, you know that part of the things that I say is, remember, these are people, which Kid President says,
Yes.
but listening is such a priority for us, because we won't know if they've got hurt, or we won't know why they believe what they believe if we don't ask. And a lot of times we won't even know what they believe unless we ask, because as we know, so many people have different beliefs, even if they fall under a certain heading, right? So I think that Kid President really nails it when he says, we really need to listen and love. Yes, we want to share truth. We are truth bearers. We need to be sharing truth with people, but we don't need to do so out of anger and disrespect. We can do so with love and with gentleness and respect.
I feel like it says that somewhere in the Bible. 1 Peter 3:15.
So I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think this is great. I think this is a skill that I know for a fact. I have some friends that are marriage counselors, and they actually do the exact activity that Elizabeth is talking about, where the couple has to say what they're trying to say. The other person has to repeat this is what I hear you saying. Is that correct? And so this isn't something that we just need to be doing with kids. This is something that adults need to learn to do as well. And so I would say teaching your kids how to have these conversations now will set them up for success for the rest of their lives, because no matter what else they do, they will always be interacting with people. And that can set them apart. So not only as being a good Christ follower, a good image bearer of God, but just a good person to interact with in general. And that will bring the light and the aroma of Christ to kind of a dying world that just wants to shout at each other right now. So anyway, that is our Training Tuesday for today. And I think everybody else froze. But at least I'm recording this. I'm sure they would say goodbye as well. Thank you.